It's our podcast, and we can say anything we want. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Unlock Your Freedom podcast with Kevin Kepple. And today we're also with Michele Nedelec. What's up, Michele?
Welcome. It's up, Kev. How you doing?
Oh, man, it's all good in Texas because summer is finally starting to break a little bit. And so we're actually seeing some 70s, but briefly, but at least we've seen it.
That is the antithesis of what they say in Canada. It's like, summer's almost over. And then Walmart brings in, Christmas decorations. What?
Like, no, it's not even Labor Day yet. How can we possibly be getting Christmas stuff? Like, it's like those last three holidays are like the candy-thon for me. It's like Thanksgiving and Halloween. And it's just like the food fest. Luckily, we get to wear a lot of clothes in the winter, I guess. So
right.
It's a good thing. So Michelle's in Calgary, you guys. So she's got pretty much the opposite end of the spectrum of weather, probably. But you guys get warm too, right? And then you get super cold, and so it's like you get everything.
Yeah, it's super fun. We were almost up to about 90 there for a while, Fahrenheit.
Yeah, thanks for using the standard system for me, because people will tell me the number in Celsius. I'm like, that sounds cold, or maybe hot. I'm not really sure.
Not really getting the emotion you were trying to bring up by saying 30.
yeah, and it just makes sense that the U.S. uses a completely different system than everyone else, right?
Right.
So that's what we do, our way.
I do find it particularly fascinating that you use England's old way of measuring things and they don't even use it anymore. I mean, I could see if you came up with your own new fangled system and went, yeah, but this is American. We'd all go, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, we went digging through their trash. Oh, you're done with that? Yeah, cool. There's value in this dirty thing that nobody wants to use. So here we go.
4 lungs, those are awesome. Everybody needs to use those.
Yeah, I'm going to get a Model T to drive too so that I can get places. Never. All right. So tell everybody about what you do and how you serve so we can share your genius with the world here.
Awesome. So I am the creative director of my company called Awareness Strategies, and we help entrepreneurs by doing their tech for them. So I act as a fractional CMO and helping people as their chief marketing officer, helping people to create strategies for their online adventures, if you want to put it that way. So some are starting to look at the digital world as a thing to do, which is awesome and crazy. And some people already have it and it's just not working the way they want it to. So we help them with best practices and ways that they can bring their product or service online in a way that's enticing to people. Now, that's the fun part, but my partner in business and pleasures, we like to say he runs the tech side of the company, and that is the part that most business owners see as the bane of their existence. It's this necessary evil that they have to do. He gets mad at me every time I say it that way, but yeah, for most of us, it's true.
That's so pretty accurate.
So he takes care of that whole side of it, and we work primarily with a program that most people call Confusionsoft, and it's very confusing, but it's also very robust and fantastic, and he makes it sing like a Stradivarius. So it makes everybody happy.
That's very cool. So he would be the integrator, I suppose, then, and you're the visionary.
Yes. So he acts as your CIO or your chief information officer, and understanding what is the goals of the company, or what are the goals of the company, and where do you want to go, what do you want to achieve, and what kind of softwares do you need to be able to achieve that, and how do they need to integrate, and all the other stuff that then nobody cares about again.
Yeah,
as long as it works
off, right? When you talk about the tech,
I'll try and keep your real short sentences.
Yeah. No, it's like I just try to ignore what's hard, right? It's like it doesn't exist. I'm super grateful for people like him, because otherwise we'd be talking on a canned phone with a string here.
Exactly. A lot of people trying to hold up that string without interfering with the vibration.
Yeah, I think something would definitely get lost in translation along the way across North America. What's the why? Why did y'all start this business?
Well, one of it was we had to pivot ourselves. I was doing personal development training and speaking. And because of the way digital marketing works, I was going to have to pick a niche, if you want to put it that way. So I was going to either have to choose, this is how you speak from stage. This is how you gain confidence. This is how you, whatever. Because we hadn't done that yet. We didn't need to in the face-to-face world. And when I looked at the people that were in my peer group, they were all challenged by the tech as well. And I looked at him and went, like, why don't we just do this as a business? Because clearly you know what you're doing. Clearly you can do it in your sleep. It'll take you 5 seconds to figure out what they need, what they're taking 3 months to do. So we can clearly have profitability in it, and that's awesome. And he looked at it as, I'm very sick and tired of working in corporate. He used to do like the big 3-year projects with, multi-million-dollar programs that had to be set up. And he loved working with the solopreneurs, the independents, the ones that were full of creativity and juice and ideas and just needed somebody to help them to be able to get traction on their ideas and run with them. And we both believe that entrepreneurialism is what's going to save the world. And so that's what we did.
Very cool. Yeah, solve the problems that you have or that you continually see, because I think that's so beautiful. It's not creating like what I want. It's creating like either what I needed or what I see that a lot of people are struggling with. And how can I use my genius to serve? That's really beautiful. And we were talking before we kicked off the recording here, and like Michelle's one of those really cool people with the big brain, big heart, and so she really cares about serving people, and like that's the whole deal, right?
That is a whole deal. It's, to me, entrepreneurs are fascinating because they are at the point where it's like, okay, I get that I'm capable of doing said skills. I'm capable of doing certain things, but I really want to jump off this cliff and see what happens. It's like, that is awesome.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite quotes is Johnny Carson. He said, I just want to jump off the cliff and I'll build my wings on the way down. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Like, I don't need to know everything to take a step forward, and I think that's advice we all need to hear, including Kevin. So, just go. So what's some of the challenges you guys have faced in building your business?
In building our business, for sure, is replicating ourselves in that we want to be able to create teams that take advantage of the individual's skill sets, their wheelhouse, their idea of a fun challenge, and be able to morph them into a position where they're getting things done, and to continually challenge them and to make sure that all the aspects of our business is taken care of. So it's kind of filling in those, the holes in the dam, if you will, with the right people.
Yeah. So what's one of the biggest maybe lessons you've learned in hiring people? Because, people are the world's greatest variable. So that's always an interesting ride.
Well, I don't know if it's one of the biggest ones, but it was certainly one of the most impactful ones, was asking people how they learned. Because what I found was that there are people who go, oh, I need the textbook, I need the video, I need to practice, I need to do the thing. Once I'm really good at the thing, then I'll go and do it for you. Whereas the way our business runs, because our clients are a little more haphazardous, being entrepreneurs and all, our entrepreneurs go, hey, I want to get this done. And we're like, hey, let's go figure out how to do that. Hey, Frank, come here. You could figure out how to do this. They're like, what? Yeah. So it's finding those people that are excited about not knowing how to do the job that's on the table in front of them, and having fun figuring out how to do it.
Yeah. So at the people that you work with, how would somebody know, like, what do they look like, the customers that you love to serve, and how do they know they're ready to engage with you guys?
The customers are a little easier because they are at the point where they get that this internet thing is here to stay. And they're going, maybe we should figure out how to use it. And that can be anybody. They can be 30-year-olds and solopreneurs going, hey, I just want to speak for a living. I want to do coaching, whatever. Or it can be multi-million-dollar corporations that go, hey, we've had this business and we're finding that we need to figure out this whole online thing, and how do we sell, combustion engines online, whatever it is.
Yeah. So when it comes to, business automation and marketing, I think there's a lot of confusion between the two. And are they two different things, or is it the same thing? And could you delineate a little bit on that for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So marketing automation is being able to take somebody that's searching online, whether they're just going through Facebook looking at cat videos, or if they're actually actively looking on Google for your services, and being able to be there when they are in need of your services, and that they have a smooth and easy transition to you, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that they have the capacity to be able to get the information they need in order to engage with you. Business automation is making sure that you have the smooth delineation of data from one department to another so that your business is running on processes that if somebody has done it 3 times, it can be done by a computer faster, easier, more effectively. And your people can then be using their time to be creative, to be spontaneous, to be interactive, all the things that humans do best.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty simplistic explanation, which shows a deep understanding, because if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it. And I think that's really powerful. But then it gets ignored. Like, that's too simple. I need to solve pi to figure this thing out, right? I gotta find the wormhole in the universe. Like, no, you don't.
It's pretty easy, actually. Do your marketing people and your sales people talk about the same thing in the same way? And if they don't, you have automation issues.
That's well said. So what makes you guys different from other digital marketers? Because, like coaches, I feel like there's one on every corner, right? So.
And there's a digital marketer in every other corner, or they've got this side hustle of, hey, I think we could be digital marketers. Totally get that. And a lot of them are focused on either one, a tactical approach. Hey, just, do Facebook ads, and Facebook ads are going to get you the thing. Facebook ads are great at a certain point in time in your business, but they're very tactical. And marketing per se, you can have a gorgeous website, absolutely stunning website. It could win awards and not make you a dime. And what we want to do is look at your business structure. What do you actually want to achieve? And what do you need to put in when in order to be able to get your ideal client turned into a raving fan? And then you can start to look at different avenues and different ways of being able to create a bigger marketplace. But it's being able to simplify your business structure so that you're making money, so that you're building. And I think there's 2 other companies that I know of that are actually looking at your systems that way.
So, contrast always brings us clarity. And so when would business owners not want to automate their systems? Does that make sense?
And the only time I can figure out that you don't want to automate your systems is when you don't have a business that deems it necessary. So if you are just a coach and you're just starting out and you're like, I just need to make money, great. Charge 10 grand for a year-long program, find 10 clients. You can do that by networking, doing things. You can do that off your phone. You need a merchant account and a cell phone, basically. And you can do that. Until you've done that in that kind of a business, you don't need to automate anything. It's businesses that have more complexities to them. Things like podcasts, right? All of a sudden you're going, hey, this is awesome. This is fun. I get to interview fun people from across the world. And then once we're done, it's like, okay, now how do I get it out to the world? Okay, well, somebody's got to edit it. Somebody's got to, make it pop and fizz or do whatever it does. Somebody's got to say, hey, we did this interview and you should come and see it because it was a lot of fun. All of that side of the business is a complexity. And if you've done it 3 times, as my dad used to say, once is an accident, twice is a mistake, 3 times it's a habit. Anything that's a habit in your business should be automated. So if you're saying the same thing over again, if you're writing the same emails, if you're doing anything 3 times, you should have a system in place that makes that automatic so that it's easier, faster, and off your plate. And then that allows for you to go out and make all of those, mistakes, which humans do fabulous.
Yeah. If only there was a business that we could do that professionally. Mistake maker, right?
I think that is business.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think that's such a brilliant thing that your dad said, and you're repeating. It's like if you're doing something, more than like a couple of times, you definitely need a system in place, and otherwise you have to make new decisions every day, and there's decision fatigue is a real thing. And
it really is. People aren't that good at making decisions, and certainly not, even though it's the same decision over and over again, it's still a decision that has to be made, and it still takes emotional energy from you. And when you can eliminate those and start focusing your attention on decisions that matter, then you become far more effective, far more focused. It becomes easier to be in your jam.
Yeah, and that's so good because, there's so many things out there that, make automation look quote unquote easy now, right? And I've tried to do a couple of those things myself in the past, and it's, setting up like workflow with like Zap or whatever, and I'm like, I want to throw my laptop as far as I can right now because this is really, really frustrating, and I feel like I'm a little dumber than when I started. And, Steve Jobs was obviously brilliant at building companies, if nothing else. And he said, we don't hire smart people so we can tell them what to do. We hire them so they can tell us what to do. And so when somebody says, well, can I just do this myself? What would be the response to that?
And do you want to build the business? Or do you want to learn how to do this? They're two very different things, and both are fine. So an understanding, if you want a side hustle and you want to be able to play and understand, how does the legal ramifications of a business work? How do the tax ramifications of a business work? How does accounting work? How does, all these different aspects of a business, and you're just kind of entertained by the whole experience of it. Can you do them all yourself? Oh, of course you can. How much time do you got? You got the rest of your life to be able to figure out whatever you want to figure out. Or do you want to build a business? And if you want to build a business, then you want to get rid of certain things off of your plate, which are your bookkeeping, your tax accounting for sure. Unless you're a tax accountant, that's not your forte and you shouldn't be doing it. Nobody needs to be reading that late at night trying to figure that out. You can just go and ask questions, right? And same thing happens with your tech. Are you smart enough to figure it out? Of course you are. Absolutely are. Nobody's in denial of that. But if you're a business owner, your jam will make you more money doing what you do. So there's this thing called this revenue generating activity. And it's what you do best that right now nobody in your business can do. And we can't hire it out yet, or you don't want to hire it out yet. All the rest of the things can be hired out. And the reason I think that tech is important to hire out is because a lot of people will go, oh, I'll just hire a VA and they'll do it. Oh, here, go learn this software. Sure. How long do you want them to take to learn this software? Brad's only got 50 years of experience in the IT world. You could wait 50 years before they know what Brad knows. Or you could just go, hey, Brad, how do you do this? Or Brad, do this. And Brad assigns it to somebody else and goes, here, go do that.
Yeah,
and
like
boom,
that
it's
last
done.
Option. Brad, everybody needs Brad for sure.
Right?
Like, Brad, please help, right? Because Brad's going to condense down anything you're doing into probably a short amount of time and do it at an expert level. And so,
well, think about your business. Like, is there anything that you thought about 3 years ago and you're like, hey, I should do this, and you're still thinking, hey, yeah, I should do this, right? Whether it's write a book, do a podcast, do a course, do a webinar, do a whatever. We think about these things for years, and it's the tech that stop us. Ironically, when I started my podcast, the thing that stopped me was not knowing where to post my podcast. It's like, I knew websites. It's like, I knew that the RSS feed had to come from somewhere, but I didn't get where to place it. And so for 3 years, I didn't make my podcast. So what? Ironic. I run a tech company. All I have to do is go, hey, go figure this out. Go buy a course. So I got the course. I figured it out. We did it. Now I have 5 podcasts going out because it's super fun to me. That's my jam. The tech is not. But when we wait 3 years to let something that simplistic for somebody else to stop us, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All I had to do is log into a piece of software, download my MP3, bam, done. It was like that easy for somebody that knows.
Yeah, my first podcast, the reason I quit doing it is because I got tired of editing it. And like the editing was like this like big monster that hid under the bed that I never wanted to let out. And you know what? Shout out to Arnaud. That man, he helps me so much now, and he's so much better at it than I ever was. And he's just a really good guy, and I love that I get to support his business. And man, he's helped me tremendously. He's like helped me so much more than just editing because he's an expert and he's a master. He's like, dude, what kind of mic are you using? It's not bad, but we could do better, right? And,
right. And it's that capability. If you had a VA doing it, they wouldn't be asking you that. They wouldn't go, well, this sound kind of sucked, but I did what I could. Whereas he's going, hey, dude, the sound sucks. Spend the extra, $100, whatever it was. And all of a sudden your production's awesome. You sound great. You look fantastic. People are loving the show. That little bit of his knowledge and experience made a huge difference. And that's what we're talking about. You get those little nuggets here, there, and everywhere. And all of a sudden your business starts moving. I can't tell you how many times we've had clients that go, we come back to them and go, okay, that's done. Now we need to move on this phase. And they're like, what? That's supposed to take 3 months. Like, nope, took us a week. So onward we go. They're like, but I needed 3 months to psych myself up to be able to do my webinar. It's like, okay, what do you need to do to get yourself in a position to go, yeah, I'm confident doing webinar? And then we go through the gamut, and it's like, oh, okay, so you need a template, you need a thing here, go over it. I'll read it over, make sure it sounds good. Yeah, you're great. And within a week, she's doing the things that she thought, she had 6 months to do because she had to psych herself into it. And she did awesome.
Yeah, but you got to create, kind of what you were talking about earlier. You have to create that space in your life where you're not just busy, because that's the only time creativity is going to flow through you. And, we get paid for creativity, not for reacting to problems. And it's such a simple concept that, again, it gets ignored probably, but it's, in that silence is when you're going to get, the inspiration. And, that's the fun part, when stuff's, downloading to you, which is not going to happen if you're covered up with just, I'm the busiest person that's ever been busy. Like, cool, but are you productive at all? Right? It's a big difference. Right.
Well, and I think a lot of people going into business go, hey, I have this idea. It's cool. I think I'll figure out how to bring it out to the world. And what they don't realize is that people that do that bring their ideas out into the world, are actually a valuable commodity to the next people in a business lineup that want to buy that business. There are people out there that love buying businesses that are creative and making money, and then they take them, they systemize them, they make them boring, and they turn them into money machines. Entrepreneurs that like to make things creative are the jam that gets, or the motion that gets things in motion. They are the creativity, the spontaneity, the enticing part of business that's all about ideas and creativity. It's not about figuring out how your freaking IT works at this stage in business. That's for somebody else to, if they want to take it up to a next level, let them take it up to the next level. Your job here is not to figure out everything about business now to make the systems and all the boring stuff work. It's how do you create so that this new business has a life and an energy of its own that's maybe never been seen before.
Yeah, well said. So let's talk a couple of objections I would imagine that you hear frequently. Well, doesn't, business and marketing automation cost a lot?
So they say, and I go, okay, so do you have electricity in your business? Odds are. I would think you have electricity, because even if you run a business on your cell phone and your merchant account, you still need to plug in your phone. Right? So there's that expense. Second of all, do you have a computer? Probably. Was it the cheapest computer on the board? And if it was, are you still using that computer 6 months later? Right? You probably realize, oh, okay, this isn't the way to go. I have to do that. So there's an aspect to business that you have to have. The issue with electricity and a computer is neither one of those things are moving you forward and getting your things done. You still have to utilize them in a way that moves you forward. The fun part to me, especially when people hire us, is that we're like the ones that push the gas pedal. So you get to drive, but we get to push the gas pedal. You get to say, hey, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. But we're still the ones making things happen, because we're throwing things in the engine going, okay, this all has to get done. This all has to get done. This all has to get done. And we're making sure that the car is moving forward. You get to sit there and look out the windshield and go, is this the direction I want to go in? Yes or no, and how fast am I getting there?
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, because everybody wants control, especially entrepreneurs and business owners. Like, that's probably why we went into business. Like, we don't do well with being told what to do.
Exactly.
Basically unemployable, right? So.
Right. But when we start thinking, oh, I need to be the engine, I need to be the accelerator, I need to be the transmission, I need to be all of these things in my business, that's when we get exhausted and we go like, this isn't working. And it's like, well, no, because the only way you can be all of those things is if you were a horse and carriage. That's the only way that's going to work.
Yeah, I think those are outdated too with the cam phone. I'm not 100%. All right, cool. This is a lot of fun. I really enjoy talking to powerful people like you that just are so good at sharing your genius in such an understandable way. Let's protect your time a little bit and go into a little fire round here at the end and send you on your way.
Awesome.
So you can enjoy the waning moments of summer up there in Calgary. But for a business owner or a leader, which is, most of our audience out there. We love you guys. But what would be a piece of mindset advice you would share with them?
My piece of mindset that I would share with them is to, one, delegate, don't abdicate, for starters. So making sure that you're giving people the work that they can do and not saying, hey, go do this, and then leave them on the lurch. That's almost the same as ghosting your suppliers, or your suppliers ghosting you, is you ghosting your suppliers. And the other thing is, instead of trying to get things off your plate, try and find people who can take things off your plate. So just like we were talking about earlier, instead of having a VA and going, hey, go learn this and figure out how to do this, find people that already know how to do it and do it well, so that when it's done, you're in a position of gain and prosperity. So I back up the bus a bit and go, okay, you should be asking more questions than you're paying money, for starters. Once you have the answers that you want, then you can start spending money on it. And you know that the money that you're spending on it is going to give you a return on your investment, so that you're making more money on it. So that you're not just going on a hope and a prayer that this thing is going to solve all your problems. You're solving your problems ahead of time, so that you know that you're going to create the revenue that they are asking you to spend, which makes a huge difference. It's not, do I have the money in my pocket to afford this? It's, are they going to create the revenue that needs to be had in order to keep them going?
Alrighty. What's something in your life that's non-negotiable?
And there's 6 answers in that one, wasn't there? Things in my life that are not negotiable. One is fun. My life has to be fun. If it's not fun, I'm doing it wrong. We got to make adjustments.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, fun is like joy, right? Joy is love expressed. And so, why wouldn't we want to share that?
Exactly.
What's a favorite book to read, recommend, or give away?
Excellent. Well, my favorite book to read is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It is my business Bible. My favorite book to give away is, of course, my book, The Business Ownership Mindset.
Awesome. And one message, if you could get it out to everybody in the world, what would that be?
Become an entrepreneur. It's awesome. And the reason I think it's awesome is because it garners you the freedom that you're looking for. It allows you to discover more about who you are, what you're capable of doing, than any personal development course on the planet. And it will test not only your resolve, but it'll test who you want to be when you wake up in the morning. And it'll give you that platform to be that person.
Ooh, what a great answer. So you touched on it a little bit, but what does freedom mean to you here on the Unlock Your Freedom podcast?
Freedom is everything to me. I am totally a rebel in the whole personality scheme of things. I need to fly, be free, do my thing. And the reason I think it's my everything is because it comes back to, if I'm not having fun, I got to change it. And if I don't have the freedom and capacity to be able to change my circumstances and my situation, and then Michele gets swallowed down into a very small little space, and all she's doing is figuring out how to get her freedom. So to me, it's everything. I'm like the pilots in World War II going, there's got to be a way to escape. There's got to be a way to escape.
Yeah, absolutely. Freedom is a core value for me, for sure. Yeah. All righty. Last question. Where can people go to learn more about you, connect with you, and engage with you?
Awesome. You can go to awarenessstrategies.com, and we have a whole bunch of free goodies and assessments for you. So if you're worried about your website, we have website audits. If you're worried about your branding, we have branding audits. If you're worried about your marketing, we have marketing stacks. Wherever aspect of digital marketing and automation that concerns you, if you're doing it right, we have a quick little assessment for you to be able to figure out where you're at and what you can change quickly in order to get back on path. And if you're interested in the free book, you can go to businessownershipmindset.com and download it. If you can't download it, go back to awarenessstrategies.com and email me and go, hey, it's not working.
Awesome. And thanks so much for just being so free with all the greatness that you guys have and do for people. It's so imperative, I think, that we find powerful people like you that can help us grow more, because the whole point is to grow and to give it all away, right? And if you're bogged down doing things you're not supposed to be doing, that's gonna slow that growth dramatically, and that is definitely from personal experience in the past. But thanks again for being here. Really enjoyed getting to learn from you, and I know they did. Man, give us one more parting thought, and we'll get out of here.
One more parting thought is, if you find yourself struggling and frustrated alone in business that it's not working, I guarantee it's not that it's you. It is something, some tweak, some little itty bitty thing that somebody can get you back on track. And that thing that you've been doing and frustrated with the whole time is actually perfect, fantastic, and marvelous. So get help when you need it from other entrepreneurs that have done it, been there, bought the t-shirt, and go fly like the free little bird you are.
Yeah. You know, that's such a brilliant thing. Like small tweaks in your approach can lead to massive results on the back end. And very, very well said. All right, you guys, we love y'all. Thanks for being here. Please share this out with all your pals if you found some value in it. And we'll see y'all next time on the Unlock Your Freedom podcast.